Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, ready to get this tea going, taste it, talk about it, explore it, get out my spoon, scoop in enough to cover. That looks good in the bottom. Just a couple more when I'm stuck to my spoon there. All right, got that covered, bottom inch or so of my 3-ounce gaiwan. Here comes the water. As usual, brought to an early boil, been cooling for close to a minute. That looks good. That should give us enough water so that a wee bit sits just above the rim of the lid. Yes, and that makes a nice kind of seal so that the air doesn't get in. Change the color of the tea from what it's like as you steep. So I'm going to introduce this tea and talk about it, tell you where it's from, who it is, and so on. This is from Teavivre, an online tea company. This is their TaiwanDongDing. You can get a 14-gram sample available for $2 online on their product page. The product page also will tell you that this is from the Dongding area, the mountain area of Nantou County, Taiwan. This was harvested May of 2012, and you can go into the details or the information, the background about this particular kind of tea. Most likely, what they're saying is most of the farmers in that area are growing the Qingxin, that green heart oolong, a varietal of tea plant there, so that brings out the characteristics of this particular tea. Dongdings can be more lightly oxidized, more lightly roasted, or they can get into a more traditional, heavier charcoal type roast. Looking at this one, I should go ahead and move on and talk a little bit about the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor, starting with the dry here. Scooping this out and looking at it, this particular one looks to have more of a lighter roast, so it gives you more of the green, blue, dark green type colors, moving somewhat over to green yellow type colors. These, because they're crumpled up like paper wads, and these are quite large, this indicates that many of these are going to be more than one leaf. You can see little stems there, with the stem being the branch section that's connecting more than one leaf, so that further indicates that most of these are going to be more than one leaf. Looking at this, I don't get a lot of just smaller ball rolls here that would indicate something less than 2 leaves, you know. So I don't see a lot of individual leaves here. That indicates more consistency in grading and selection of the leaves. So it would mean that there's more consistency in how it will steep and the character there. Aromas were surprising to me, because at first there was an almost Japanese steamed green tea component here, and there's a light, I mean, it's almost kind of a green metallic type. It's almost like a matcha or a gyokuro. There's something there that's sweet, green, but yet, like I said, that kind of metallic type note there. So it's there's still a sweet green vegetable there, some sweet pea type notes coming off. But again, that's just surprising me there. So I'm going to go ahead and set that down and move along to be able to pour. Angle my lid over to the side. Get my pitcher ready here, and go ahead and pour. Shake out those last few drops. Try to keep them in the pitcher. Pitchers are good, very useful, of course, for looking at the liquor, but also for distributing evenly steeped tea liquor there across more than one cup. if you just pour it off, the water at the top, the initial water tea liquor that you're pouring off will be thinner and lighter. This makes sure that everybody gets more consistent tastes and colors and aromas. Let me swirl that around. I'm going to have to set that to the side because I'm going to go ahead and talk about the wet leaf here. Now it's starting to get more of that traditional Dongding Taiwanese Wulong aromas coming off. It's sweet, slightly woody is not the right word. More like more shrub-like. So it's more sweet English laurel type. There's some of that floral, almost woody, but in between come the shrub. It's not too heavy. It's not like shoving flowers up your nose, kind of overly over the top. But it's a good mellow amount. Underneath that, there is a little bit of light green vegetable, again like a sugar snap pea type sweetness. Pulling out a few of these leaves. First thing I note, well, like I said, those stems or branches there. And when I pull out one, I have one leaf not fully unfurled, 2, 3, a little bit of another one that must have broken off. So that was 4 there connected. So let me try to set that on the lid. There are sometimes you will have pieces that break off, leaves that are by themselves. Here's an example of a bit more ragged leaf. There was a piece of another leaf there on it. And on this individual leaf, you can see along the edges there's a consistent, fairly steady rust brown moving evenly across all around the edge there. So indicating that where the oxidation took place. Let me kind of flatten that out so that it can be seen a little bit better. I'm going to pull out one more here if I can. Another example, 2 leaves connected together. So we had 4, 2. Pull out another one here. I'm not going to put this on the lid though. We got 3 leaves. 1, 2, 3 leaves there. Overall, 3 to 4 leaves. Overall, a lot of these leaves that are together like that have not fully unfurled. Another positive note that these are going to release more, still have character and flavor to release in subsequent steepings. Let's go ahead now, get to the liquor here. Again, that characteristic bright yellow, gold yellow, green type color there. Aroma's nice and rich, a light, a very gentle caramel sweetness, but that's underneath, more like a honey sweetness, and that's underneath, again, some of that light vegetable, green vegetable, sweet sugar snap pea type note. Still pleasant to look at in the cup here. Some nice aromas and character coming off there. Yeah, again, it's got a bit more of a sweetness to it in the front. It's got more of like a sugar snap pea green sweetness to it there. Moving back, and it almost gets faintly honeyed. There's a sweetness there. It's not quite smooth golden honey type taste. Texture, not heavily brothy, not harshly astringent. It does have a light astringency to it. Not bitterness to really note either. So it's got, they're fairly balanced out. It's got aromas. It's got some character to it. It's not, but not heavily brothy. So when you get to the aftertaste, there is this sweetness stands out more than some other Dongdings I've looked at recently, and it stands out, and it's a little bit more prolonged as well. Still some sweetness residing there. As this cools, I should let this cool for just a moment, because as a lot of these more lightly roasted greener oolong Dongdings and oolongs, as they cool, the components come out more, especially the aromatic, the floral components there. Yeah, it's building ever so slightly, so that now, again, the green sweetness, the sweet pea, that sugar snaps, sweet pea type, that character is coming out more. At the same time, a bit more of that metallic, astringent note is present as well. Again, that was a surprising aroma coming from the dry leaf, but and it's starting to pick up. It's starting to show itself a little bit more here in the liquor too as it cools. Looking at this tea as a whole, nice components to it. Some things were pleasant, but not expected either. So it went it slightly went outside of the category. So when I look at this, I mean, I like those things there were some positive things about what was outside of that regular range, but it can't be necessarily what everyone expects, what everyone looks for. I have to give this tea an 88. Nice components, interesting components, but maybe not what you're expecting or always looking for. So come back to Walker Tea Review to find out about that tea before you get disappointed, or perhaps maybe even pleasantly surprised.